Hey everyone, how you doing? Uh, we got on a bad side of YouTube again. I guess their system is being perfected. It used to be you couldn't play three copyrighted music songs in a row. Now it's down to one and a half. They're getting better, so it's becoming a more and more harder and harder to play any kind of intro music. I really need to rethink the concept. I really like playing intro music. Remember the artists and everything you can find in playlist, but we should probably try to figure out something. But until we do, I have one more song to play. Very important one though. Before we start, and I really want you to kind of get along with me here. Yes. Happy birthday to you. Oh my god, I'm such a bad singer. Happy birthday. Oh, I cannot hear the song. I cannot hear the song. Happy birthday, Ellie. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
You see, there's a bunch of drum guys.
Happy birthday to you.
Ellie.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Ellie. Happy birthday, Ali. People that don't know that are joining me for the first, Ali is our, you can say, head moderator. Ali, while she didn't start the channel with me or anything, she has been crucial for this channel to become what it is in this journey. So with every bit of thanks and gratitude that I have in me, I want to say thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for that you're still doing. And huge thanks to you in your birthday. I know it was yesterday, but it's a first stream today. It's a first video. So happy birthday, Ali. Yes, I see chat joined up. Very nice. Very nice. This is very good. I like that. I like when people join up. So another thing that I want to mention, which I'll mention it a little bit later. Okay. How you doing, guys? How you doing? I hope it's going well. We have great news. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a map update to kind of get us going. I usually don't do these too much on the streams because I usually try to do it on videos. But some certain things that we need to talk about is what's happening on the front lines in the map to get you up to speed. And this will be a great leeway into our future discussions. Okay, let me see. Where was it? There we go. How do I switch this? Yes, perfect. Wow. I got the map set up and running from the first time. Perfect. So two big developments, really big and important developments happened at the end of the week, which is the first one, which I believe is the bigger ones, is, and this is me should have been talking about, I said you so, and then like this is what is happening, because this is exactly what I said you. I explained in my last videos and a video actually before that Ukraine will be looking to get something done in Kherson Oblast. And we see that this something is already happening. We know that they have a bridgehead or a beachhead around Antonovsky Bridge, and now we have a full-blown confirmation that Ukrainians have established and now are reinforcing a bridgehead which is located just west of Kasachi Lahiri village, and it's amazing news. This is excellent news. I still believe that there will be a third bridgehead, at least what I'm talking with the when I'm listening to the analysts, just because Russians here did not pay enough respect to the Ukrainian forces and their potential for naval landing. They do not have extensive minefields in the area. They do not have extensive fortifications in the area. So if Ukraine will be able to create a decent-sized beachhead, will be able, well, I mean, a decent-sized beachhead is already created. I mean, they just can be later on connected. But this will allow Ukraine to very how would I put it, very significantly spoil the day for Russians. So now everything that we talked about, right, everything that we've been discussing with this second bridgehead, that this is the front line for Russians. Well, some people say yes, but technically Ukraine has advanced only in 3 directions, which is here, here, and here. And that is true. But if we now also say, but there is also a front line here, this changes things because there is no fast exchange of forces in between these 2 directions. So Ukraine will have a very, very good position to dictate to Russian forces what they will do. This is going to be devastating. I am already seeing, if let's put it this way, Russians have been, and this is an important thing to understand, because I believe I will mention it again in a video, but I believe this is something that I haven't explained well enough, is that for Russians, I believe it became either personal trauma or for a lot of these visual cues of Russia losing, such as during the Kharkiv operation, when the territory that was controlled by Russia collapses fast. That was a big pain point for Russians' defense in depth should technically be like this, like Russia fights for the line of defense. Yes, they try to fight as much as they can, but then they fall back to preserve the forces and make sure that the enemy is fighting always in unfavorable positions. Yet this is not what we're seeing that Russians are doing. And obviously they would fall back to the lines, to the second line, then the third line, then the fourth line, and so on. And that was supposed to be the point. However, this is not what Russians are doing. They are instead sending a lot of reserves and sending a lot of forces and basically fighting until last man standing on the first lines of defense into this minefields. They are fighting in a significant disadvantage. That is why we're seeing that a lot of the Russian forces are being attrited, that a lot of casualties being sustained by Russians, and even with that, Ukraine as an attacking force does not even follow the normal attacking force expectations, that the losses comparatively to what Russians are sustaining, Ukrainians are sustaining a lot less. This is because Russians are putting themselves in a disadvantaged positions. And my personal perspective, why is that? And there are certain analysts that are sharing this, is that after seeing that the territory has been lost, I believe there is some kind of mental click in some kind of Russian command that losing territory, bad. Losing territory fast, bad. So we need to do everything that we can and not lose territory. So just to paint a pretty picture, they are sacrificing a lot of their resources that are not easily replaceable, such as like the huge numbers of artillery pieces. This is like losses in artillery for Russian. This is a game changer. This is a more game changer than a lot of things. And I'm going to try to underline the importance of it in my next video. But this is a long-term damage to Russian forces and significant damage. So now Russians are, okay, we're sending all of the forces to the front line, we're engaging the frontline forces. I already told you that all of the major reserves in the area that were here, dedicated reserves in the area, I should put red for Russians. So all of the dedicated resources in the southern area have been committed to the front lines, to the top front lines, which is, I mean, it doesn't matter, they're fighting and fighting, right? What's the problem with that? If they're already fighting on the front lines, they will just continue fighting Ukrainians. So does it really matter if they're dedicated or not? Well, remember, there is not a one front line anymore. You notice that? What do you do then? If before you had like these dedicated forces here in the back that you said, oh, if Ukrainian major offensive is going to come from this direction, okay, maybe we can then send some of the forces here. But now there is no forces. What do you do then? It's a really bad situation for Russians. This paints disaster. This paints disaster. But I want to be very, very clear that I don't know the future. No one knows the future. Things can go wrong. You know, I don't know, like rains start and don't end starting next week until October. A lot of things can go wrong. But what I want to convey is that Russians, in what they have, in how they have approached their defense. We've talked a lot when the start of offensive was, what was the Russian doctrine? That it was like one line of defense, when it's breached, they fight on a second line of defense, when it's breached, they fight on a third line of defense. This is not what they did. They said like, no, never let breach the first line of defense. Just commit whatever you can. And they are not fighting to their doctrine. They have dig out themselves a grave and they are already halfway leaning over the edge. This is what I want to paint the picture for, because right now Russians are still somewhat holding. You know, they're still saying, oh yeah, but the main line is there and so on. But they have committed reserves to this front line. They now have additional threat on the Kherson area where there are no major fortifications. There are a lot of pieces that can, if at least one of them falls, this whole thing, this whole theater is falling apart. And this is the message that I want to be absolutely clearly delivered. Will it happen? We don't know. We don't know. It might not happen. Situation might change. Wars are unpredictable. But the playing pieces are there. The whole thing for a perfect disaster is there. And Russia, oh boy, I cannot wait. I'm obviously really hoping that it will happen, but well, we'll see. In more tactical news, something that I know people really like to look at is that Ukrainians have advanced around Robotyne, which is really nice. There's additional fighting, so Ukrainians are continuing their advances forward. Again, slowly. This is not as important. What was important, though, was Urozhaine, and actually more important than Urozhaine, because this is all tactical wins. You know, this is something you watch reporting from Ukraine for, or even better than reporting from Ukraine. You can go to our Discord, and there is a channel where amazing people, Matt and Pappy, are actually putting a lot of time to give you constant live updates on whole situation on the front lines. They're using open source intelligence, all of the known analysts, and they're pulling a lot of information from different sources to post a constant feed of what kind of battle updates are happening on Ukrainian front lines. So if you want to follow it like day in, day out and have it on your feed, please go to our Discord to the battle updates channel. It's really amazing and the information is really good. But what I want to say about Urozhaine is that liberating Urozhaine was it was written on the wall. It was a bad position for Russians to hold. It was a bad position for Russians to be in. But what we saw next was a very special video, again, which is available in our Discord, was a video from this area right here. If it's south of Urozhaine, if this is the Urozhaine village, but south of Urozhaine, on this particular piece of land right here, there was a huge columns of Russian soldiers that were fleeing Urozhaine, and they were fleeing Urozhaine on foot. They had no armor, they had no vehicles, nothing like this. They were just running along the road on their own, and they were being shelled by Ukrainian artillery, by bombs, cluster munitions, and whatnot. And this is very telling for a lot of things. This is telling that Russia is literally sending people there to have the last stand of their lives. They don't even provide enough enough support for them. And even the vehicles that they're having, Ukraine is really good at destroying, even if they have vehicles. So what we see from there is that Russians are committing as much as they can. They literally are throwing everything. It is crazy how far Russia has fallen in just a year and a half. In year and a half, that they still have time to burn through their Soviet reserves. It's true. Remember, we always were discussing that Russian army may be not that strong, but it's extremely long. And everyone, when they think long, they never thought long enough, because it's still not ending. It's like you need to slice that salami, slice, 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 slice. And slicing artillery for a Russian military, that's devastating. And I'm going to talk about it, of course, but if Russian army, with everything that they have, was just going to start relying on manpower and they're going to lose all the artillery pieces, that's it. Then there is no more army. They don't know how to fight the other way around. Russian military don't know how to fight besides when they have massive advantage in artillery and other equipment. If they don't have advantage in artillery and other equipment, well, then it doesn't matter. So I hope this acts as a good starting point for our today's discussion. I'm gonna put on the questionnaire part. Today I'm gonna be asking, by the way, guys, I'm gonna be asking extra to subscribe because we are almost 100,000 on this channel, which is still mind-boggling for me, because let's face it, like, I'm not an analyst, I'm not a military dude, I'm a guy on YouTube, literally, that is just working in the office. And for some reason, you find time to watch me, and I appreciate that a lot. That's absolutely beyond me. But that's the speech that I need to give in a 110 subscribers. So subscribe. We only need 110 subscribers. Anyway, good start. Let's see what people have been saying. Thank you so much for 5 gifted subs, Benjamin. OCT, thank you so much for 10 gifted subs. Appreciate that. That guy, thank you so much for being member for 5 months. Really appreciate it. Ask Antitila for permission to use their music. Yeah, I think I should. Like, I think with 100,000 subs, I'm technically already considered like a channel on YouTube. So maybe people will start recognizing it. So that would be amazing. But we'll see. Thank you so much. Russia did this to themselves by blowing the dam and creating a much narrow river. Yes, correct that guy. You are absolutely correct. And thanks for 10 bucks. The fact that Russia are now in trouble with Ukrainians crossing Dnipro is because before Russia was in control of dam, but because they were so afraid of this fast and massive Ukrainian push at the start of the offensive, they thought that Ukraine will just gonna throw everything at Russia. Just to prevent this massive loss of territory right there and then, they decided to blow up the dam, and now it's blowing up in their face long term, which is absolutely on point. Durax, yes, exactly, that guy. Thank you so much for $5 more. Luna S, thanks so much for 14 Canadian bucks. Steve, thanks so much for 10 Canadian bucks. I love my Canadian viewers. That guy, Russian tank driver to commander, patience, Yuri. I'm still reading the instructions manual. That's true. That's very often actually how it is with Russian military. You're joking here, but that is actually true. A lot of these, at least when the mobilization came in, Russian mobilized, that's pretty much how they were fighting in tanks, when they were fighting tanks. All right, let's start the questionnaire. So you can write your questions and I can read them. Questions here. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Now you have a place to write questions. Oh, wow. Ethan, folks are saying that US and other powers are deliberately limiting their supplies to Ukraine to prevent a decisive Ukrainian victory, which would result in the collapse of Russia. Any thoughts? It's a theory. I've heard this theory being discussed. It's definitely possible. I believe that it's extrapolation, like going a step too far when we're extrapolating from available data to us. Because what available data to us is saying is that Ukraine's allies are not fully aligned what's their goals of this war are. For Ukraine, it's very clear and understandable what Ukraine wants. Ukraine wants Putin's regime dead, Putin dead, regime gone, and the Russia destroyed. Whereas I believe a lot of other allies are still considering whether or not unforeseeable consequences of a changed regime in Russia is worth it. And that's kind of where we thought whether they actively want to prevent Ukraine on getting enough resources, or there are actual honest troubles, or there is some kind of other strategy. I don't know. We don't have data for it, but it's definitely, there are different signs that potentially Russia is not being seen as an existential threat in the West anymore. Basically saying that, hey, there was a risk that Russia would win in Ukraine, and at that moment we needed to help Ukraine. But now Ukraine is winning Russia pretty okay, so now Russia is just weakened, and it's weakened for decades. It might be just a better strategy long term, as to we need to defeat Russia not just militarily, but also defeat Russia economically, so the whole system collapses on itself. So there have been different voices that voice this, but it's not an invalid thought to have. Does Ukraine have the military engineering means to build bridges over Dnieper River? Yes, Ukraine has the military capabilities to build bridges over Dnieper River. Okay. Is Ukraine too slow to take advantage of an opening? No, Ukraine is not too slow to take advantage of the opening, because too slow would indicate that the window of opening would close. We know that the opening is open until approximately mid-October, and we're expecting Ukraine to utilize their position somewhere in September-ish, October start-ish, so like they did last year around Kherson. So for that, I believe Ukraine still has a proper window open. So no, I don't believe Ukraine has lost this. Hans Eriksson, thanks so much for 100 Swedish kronas. Vorlav, danke, thank you. Bitteschön. Thanks for 20 euros. Kerch Bridge is key. Yes, Kerch Bridge will be taken down. I'm pretty sure you all are pretty much aware that Ukraine is already trying their air assets and missiles to try to hit some of the bridge assets, but we'll see. Do you think Ukraine will airdrop any forces in Crimea? No. Ukraine doesn't have these capabilities, unfortunately, Michael. How was your visit with Brandon? It was very nice. It was very nice. I made Brandon salad with pickled spicy tea leaves from Myanmar, which is interesting thing that my wife got hands on. He very enjoyed the flavor. It was very different. BDKB, why are Russians attacking Robotyne? So why are the Russians are not attacking Robotyne, they are defending Robotyne. Okay, why are the Russians attacking Robotyne so much, even though the concentration of defenses are so large? Is it to concentrate Russian troops? Sorry, I cannot understand the question. Is it, maybe you asked, why are the Ukrainians attacking Robotyne so much, even though the concentration of defenses are so large? Is it to concentrate Russian troops? Yes. BDKB, because one of the things that when you engage troops, Russian troops, on certain directions, and it's just becomes a point of gravity. The troops that are in Robotyne cannot be anywhere else. And if Ukraine is still advancing despite the concentration of Russian troops, that just means that Ukrainians have the possibility to do even more if they dedicate more resources. So potentially Ukraine will evaluate which of these advanced positions around Robotyne, Verbove, and Velika Novosilka, which of these directions will be more susceptible to potential large-scale attack. But we will see. I don't know the plans of Ukrainians. Robert Hernes, when Ukraine eventually wins, will you focus more on video reporting and reconstruction of Ukraine? I'm going to be focusing mostly on business side. Gotta say, war is not really my thing that much, but I really like business and economics. This is my profile. This is what I'm educated in. And in my perspective, I think it just makes sense in my worldview that any kind of capitalistic country that is within the capitalistic society is going to thrive when local businesses get developed. For Ukraine to start rebuilding themselves and long-term thriving, Ukraine needs thriving businesses. So I believe I will work closely with Ukrainian businesses and try to set up some kind of investment for portfolios to funnel funds into Ukrainian businesses so they can create value-adding companies that can help get Ukrainian economy back on its feet. I think the worst thing that people in the West can do is just donate money by itself. I think it's a nice thing, but I don't think it's really a good thing, because I really believe in the power of like teach a person how to fish, and he will be able to sustain his family for the whole life or something like that. So I believe in business. I believe investing in Ukrainian business is the key. That's how I'm seeing it. How and at what point do you see Ukraine getting heavy equipment, tanks, Bradleys over the Dnieper River, expand their Kherson Oblast beachheads? That's a good question. There have been there have been training done by Ukrainian forces. Bradleys will definitely not go there, because Bradleys are already engaged with the 47th Brigade on the front line, and I believe they were the only brigade that used Bradleys, so Bradleys will not be there. But other vehicles will probably be there, like Martyrs. We still haven't seen Martyrs, haven't we? And if I'm not wrong, Martyrs are aquatic, so they can cross it. So we will see heavy equipment crossings, for sure, when Ukraine will start advancing. But first, it's going to be a little bit of a men and artillery advances, mostly. I believe, at least. That's been the pattern so far. If Russia offers to stop everything and give back everything but Crimea, what would be Ukraine, and what response to that? The answer would be no. There is a now podcast with Perun and Anders Pak Nielsen from the Danish Royal Military Academy, I believe that's called. And he explains very nicely in simple terms that in Russian mindset, they are not there for some kind of pieces of Ukraine. That's not what they were after, right? It's a faulty logic thinking that if we give Russia something, that Russia will go away. That's not the case. Ukraine and Poland and the Baltics understand it really, really well. These questions are mostly raised by people in Western societies that live far of Russia, and they're still having trouble understanding this Russian mindset, whereas people that are living close to Russia are seeing it exactly for what it is. And I will show you this in a second. So this is basically Western perspective on Russia. Yeah, something like this. So, and I'm pretty sure you can see where the Baltic perspective comes into this. Yeah. Okay. Do you think Alkmaar class minesweeper can make a difference in the fight against the Russian blockade? Hello from Holland. I mean, right now there is Ukrainian blockade. I'm not sure if there is Russian blockade, because Russia has not enforced their blockade yet, whereas Ukraine already has started. So I'm not sure I agree with you that there is a Russian blockade. There are Russians that are saying that there is a Russian blockade, but the surreal taco. If Ukraine invades Russian oblast with Soviet equipment, do you think if Ukraine invades Russian oblast with Soviet equipment, do you think Russia would respond? West would respond? No. Jonas BL3. Are the river crossings still mainly special forces and boats, or has it been developed into something larger? It's been now reinforced with actual forces, so it's not just special forces. There are regular grunts on the ground that are digging trenches, preparing, doing stuff, and they're going to start getting some equipment, but it's still mostly on boats. Yes, there are no pontoon bridges yet. At least nothing that Russia has reported. Do you think digital warfare is still going on? Hank, yes, every day. Brian, Russia have many forces around Luhansk. Why don't they send some of them to the south instead of the few counteroffensive? Because they're doing strategic counter action, right? Because Ukraine had to, they're doing and they're succeeding. You need to understand that what Russia is doing is they are draining Ukrainian forces, Ukrainian reserves, with the forces that they're having. And they are in more advantageous position in Luhansk. So it's just a strategic action that they're doing. So potentially, if things will go really bad in the south, they will send more forces from there. But right now, they are doing their spoiler attack in there. So it's just a strategic movements. Kim C. Starsky mentioned Russian drones being a menace. Are the drones taking out other drones yet still relying on a ground interference methods? Right now, ground interference, and there is no good solution right now by Ukrainians against Russian drones. It's a huge issue and it's going to become even worse. We could expect that in about half a year's time, there's going to be an FPV drone on every single Ukrainian soldier on the front lines. That is how bad things are. So it's a real issue and it's an escalating issue. So Ukraine is a little bit on the clock to find a solution for that. And I know that their solutions are being developed. I'm just not sure when they're going to be available and if they're going to be available fast enough. Chiu, if Russians are pushed back, wouldn't they be able to create new minefields in no time? Not to the same density and not the same mines. Russia has been creating this line of minefields that Ukraine is going after over 6 months. So some mines, yes, but we're here talking minefields that are so dense and so complicated, like mines on top of mines, mines that have double layered protection and so on and so on. So there are differences in types of minefields, and there are differences in number of minefields. This first line with the minefields is literally covered with millions and millions of mines. It's a non-stop part, whereas it's already known that minefields deeper into this territory is already gone. So I know that Russia can create minefields fast, but not that fast. Cheryl Waterley, could the Russian Legion flank the Russians attacking Kupiansk? Haven't heard about them lately. Okay, Russian Legion is a meme, so we entertain them a lot. Let's put a point to it, like a full stop to it, because Russian Legion is a group of Russians that are supporting democracy and are fighting for Ukraine, and their number is less than 100. So we need to stop discussing and thinking that this is some kind of a major fighting force. They're not. They're not. In this war, with this scale, their input, with all respect and love to Russian legions, I'm really glad that some Russians see this. But finding 100 people, you know what I mean. You understand what I'm saying. John Keys, thanks so much for $10. Appreciate it. GMG Fat. How should we expect the main armed force of Ukraine thrust just before the end of summer vacation in Russia to create chaos on the logistics, on the land bridge with civilian bombings back to Crimea? Okay, GMG Fat, question. Would you want bunch of civilians stuck there, and then when you go advancing, when you shoot artillery, then Russia are starting posting images of columns of civilian cars bombed by Ukrainians? I know they should not have been there, but do you think it's a good thing to do, or like this is something that Ukraine is really willing to do? Whereas if they take a little bit more time, maybe they can destroy additional 200-300 pieces of artillery from Russian side, doing it slow and not rushing it to the summer vacation. I don't feel Ukraine are as bloodthirsty and as needy to do that. But interesting point. Paul, would it help Ukrainian economy, and if so, how much, if we all bought and held Ukrainian hryvnia? At least in my mind, I expect the value of Ukraine's currency to go way up once they win the war. No, not really. No, no, no. I don't believe we can, because central banks and country banks, they operate on scales which are ludicrous for any number of of individual funds. If we're talking about hryvnia being a more secured currency in demand, we're talking about many, many, many billions of dollars in Ukrainian hryvnias. And that's like, why don't we just send these to help Ukraine win and stabilize their economy? No, I believe the level of like the numbers that central banks use for regulation of currency are way too high for any kind of effort by population to make a noticeable impact. Instead, this Crimea was the main object. Yes, Crimea was indeed the main object. Penti Blue Force, thanks so much for 200 Swedish kronas. Remember, guys, we're still trying to get to 100,000 subs, so I'm going to advertise a lot to subscribe. Please check that you're subscribed. It would be really nice if we can get it during this stream. I'm going to be very, very, very happy. And I'm pretty sure you will be very, very happy as well, because you have been supporting me for this journey from the get-go. Like, I understand, I see still so many names that when I was a small guy, small channel of like 7,000 people or something, where it is like, wow. And you're still with me. I appreciate it a lot. Yes. Okay, let me see. Okay, that was the question about Perun. Yes. I wrote my MiG-29. I wrote my German SPD party representative to hurry up a bit with weapons, and is this necessary or cringe? Necessary. Necessary. Ukrainian officials, like their diplomats that were in negotiation with different countries' representatives, and even on the high level, whenever we're talking like business or lower level cooperations, whenever there is something, this decision to try to do something good for Ukraine, public pressure helped a lot. That was the direct quotes from Ukrainian diplomats. So it helps more than you can imagine. Ukrainian diplomats were saying that this was the best leverage that they had against, well, not against, like, negotiations, they use the term against, but it's not like as an opposition. It means that they were able to make their point more valid. In that sense, it helped a lot Ukrainian diplomats, and when Ukrainian diplomats are giving interviews, they're very, very grateful for specifically that, for reaching out to your local representatives. Super important, super important. You might not see the effect, but it does help. Did Ukraine, in your opinion, already engaged more than half of the new created units? No. There has been now discussion coming, yes, but I already explained this in one of my recent videos, that engaged units are only the known definitive brigade that were within the specific 13, like the how do you say, like a spearhead, the known 13 brigades of spearhead. Right now there's like 6 or 7 of them engaged. And engaged very often means that there is only some certain parts of that brigade has been engaged, like their artillery part of that brigade, or some of their armor has been engaged, but very often not full brigade has been committed to it. And beyond that, we're not seeing that a lot of these not spearhead brigades have been engaged. Ukraine still has a lot of brigades in reserve that have not been engaged, that were also prepared for this offensive, but they are not this spearhead charge. They're more of a reinforcing units that were, once the spearhead creates an opening in the Russian lines, it was these supporting units that needed to help and flow through these openings to help expand it and overtake Russians. So no, I believe we're close to about a half. It's close. It's definitely close, but I don't believe it's now more than I've heard like numbers like 60-75% of Ukrainian battle capability has been engaged. Not even close. Okay. Were you following any of this when East and West Germany united? My brother was in Berlin and watched it happen from his hotel. When you were you following? Okay, was the Germany reunited when the Berlin Wall fell? Was it like in 89 or 90? Oh my God, I'm now shaming myself on the internet, right? I don't know when Berlin Wall fell. Oh, fell. Oh my God. 89. Oh my God, I'm so good. Fuck me, I remember this. Yes. Wow. Woo. No pressure. No pressure. Yes. No pressure. Yeah, in 89, I was 3 years old. So I think I was mostly following my mom at that moment, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that I'm not unfortunately that old. So I couldn't be. Yeah. What are your thoughts on YouTuber Mercado Media? He's amazing. Follow Mercado Media. Super cool guy. Love him. Adamantium. Yeah, well, okay, that was the question. Lou, get Puck on the show. We talked with Anas, but we never could agree when we're gonna do. I think we ended up in this weird situation where we tried to agree on something, but it just fell apart. And now it's kind of awkward to reach out and try to get it on the show. I'm not the best interviewer. Like I tried a whole month to interview people, to talk with people, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm really suited for this kind of job. I really feel better talking just with you guys, but I don't know. I think like if I'm being asked to drop into some show somewhere, I would, but I'm not sure if this is something I would do proactively. It's a real taco. Should Russian POVs be used to clear minefields? No, that's against the law, the convention. That should be that like forced labor and especially something like this as just inhumane. Though Russians are not humans. Well, that's I see your point, but no, I would not agree with that. Hisham, I think it's like, let's put it this way: it's more talking like if we use prisoners of war, if Ukraine uses prisoners of war as this forced labor, it tells more about Ukraine than about Russians, right? Lorna, after Russian fired on the boarded the Palau ship, what do you think of the ship staying in Turkish, Bulgarian, and Romanian waters escorted by NATO boat and helicopters? I think NATO will pussy out. Neil, good news from Kherson tonight. Nearly 1,000 Ukrainian Marines to return home after intense training from elite UK commandos. Very good. Really, really looking forward to it. More forces. Ukraine needs more trained forces. Grizzly, is there any news about the push on Urozhaine? There seems to be huge amounts of dead Russian terrorists from several companies. Yes, I've talked about Urozhaine at the start of this stream, and Ukrainians are having really good success at Urozhaine. Russians overstayed their welcome there, and they've basically stayed until the last moment, and they decided to, at the end, when they couldn't already hold, they just decided to flee on foot. They didn't have any vehicles, they didn't have anything, and they just became cannon fodder because Ukrainians just cluster bombed their whole retreat. It was a massacre. If this would be like a first video that I watched from this war, I would be very shocked. But I already watched so many videos from this war it's not really, it's like, yeah. Just me, welcome to Brother in Arms, appreciate it. JJ, members for 4 months, wow, let's go. Nice having you. Nice having you here with us. Awesome HPT. If Ukraine can't or won't launch a major thrust across the Dnieper, do you think their intent would be to take and hold chunk of land which supplies lines to cut to Zaporizhia? You mean if, let's put it this way, let me show you. So I'll put them up on again. to understand what I'm. Oh my God, where is it? Deep state. There we go. Okay. So you're saying if Ukraine will hold chunks of land, you mean if Ukraine will retake something like this? I would guess like that's a big chunk of land. Um, if Ukraine is able to get here, like I'm gonna put on this Kherson, if Ukraine is able to reach Armyansk, which is here, that's it. Like because from here their field artillery can take out this bridge. It's close enough. Like how long this is? We need about 25 kilometers from this direction where the bridges are to. Okay, that's 79. Okay, maybe I was a little bit optimistic. Never mind. Okay, I don't know how big Ukraine is. There we go. Everything that you need to know about Georgia. But even if Ukraine needs to cut off logistics from Crimea. To do that, there are two right now entry points from Crimea to the rest of occupied Ukraine. This is here and Armyansk. Ukraine needs to control both of them, or at least it needs to get close enough to destroy both of them. That's what Ukraine needs. If Ukraine is able to retake hub like Melitopol, or at least cut off this line and this line, the white lines is the railways, then again, it would completely destroy the southern grouping. Like all of this would be done for. Because if there is no supply from Crimea, and Ukraine is already very hardcore controlling this supply line, so there is no sustain. Like everything here will be isolated, and from there it's just time will tell, and it's going to be literally the same as Kherson. Ukraine will just pump it up with artillery, and then will take whenever Russians decide to leave. Because without support from Crimea, supplies from Crimea, this thing is done for. Okay. Is it necessary to have a Patriot system to ensure the bridges on Dnieper? I believe there will be a Patriot missile system launcher to secure. Yes, I believe so. Because Russia will use ballistic missiles to try to target any kind of more permanent river crossings, like, I don't know, pontoon bridges and so on. What do you suppose are possibilities of the Ukrainian UAV creators to build a drone that can follow our railroad and attack another advanced projects and railroad track and other advanced projects off so far? I believe it's pretty good. Like Ukrainian drone production is advancing really, really fast. We already see that their drones are quite capable, and I know for a fact that a lot of these drones are being advanced already really, really heavily. Ukraine will see a lot of very advanced drones very, very soon, and Russia will struggle with these more. Russia will produce a lot of these tactical level drones, like FPV drones, Mavic drones, like these ones. Those Russia will produce a lot. Also, Lancer drones, they have proven very capable. They're like Switchblade 600. They're very similar. They are also very capable. But when we're talking big strategic drones that could be used like fire attack kamikaze drones on strategic level, such as like Shaheeds and so on, these Ukraine will develop very, very soon, and they will be very, very advanced. Though, remember, with drone warfare, the simpler, the better. The simpler, the cheaper the drone is, the better. Are Moldova allies or rivals of Ukraine? Technically, not rivals. They are. Moldova is too weak to protect themselves, so they try to not stand out. I'm from Denmark. People start complaining about money of the war. I'm from Denmark. People start complaining about money for the war. Problem? No, Lou, I don't think it's still a problem. I'm also from Denmark, but so far, nothing has suggested that there would be local complaints, yes, but I believe Danish government is being trusted well enough. what Corona crisis has showed me is the Danes support the government. There might be protests, there might be voices against, but majority of Danes still trust their government. So I believe that we will continue supporting Ukraine with everything that we have. Why is Scholz thinking so slow to send Taurus missiles? Because of the resolutions, United Nations resolutions. There are certain restrictions on transitioning of weapons with long-range capabilities, and long-range capability is 300 plus kilometers. That's why a lot of the export models of a lot of the missiles are 250 to 290 kilometers. Whenever the missiles that are being, the weapons that are being delivered to some other countries, there are 300 kilometers plus, there is a huge fuss. There is a big problem internationally. My problem with that is that UN has done jack shit, and it's more of us Western powers playing pretend that UN is some, and their resolutions are actually mattering as something very, very relevant in this conflict. So I believe that Russia, as a party that completely broke almost every single restriction that UN supposed to be putting on them. So I feel it a little bit of a joke that we are now considering. Oh wow! But it's a more you know, it's a weapon with long range capabilities that might influence this war. No shit. So that's why it is. That's why the discussion. Why haven't we seen Ukrainian Crimea missile used it? Like, what do you mean? Like video from it? Like, I don't understand how you want. There were certain missiles that were launched by Ukraine, and some of them people are saying that they were Crimea missiles. The problem with Crimea missiles, there is like what, 2 launchers only? Very, very low number. Very low number. Insignificant in the scale of war. If Ukraine could transport a brigade of troops from 3 to 5,000 to one of the Dnipro bridgeheads, do you think they could achieve a big breakthrough? Potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. So, I mean, Crimson, that's, I believe, what's going to happen. Right now, Ukraine is trying not to concentrate forces because that's when Russian artillery is going to strike them. As soon as the forces are being concentrated, Russians are going to strike them. So they need to expand their bridgeheads before they can transfer more forces in a more spread out manner. So I believe it's going to be an operation for that. Are there any landing ships available in Ukrainian army? Ships? No, I don't believe so. No. I don't think Ukrainian Navy really exists. Jeff, how is political collapse possible when oligarchs still seem to be silent puppets and the people are unable and unwilling to rise up themselves? That's a good question. But, I mean, Wagner did came out from somewhere, and while they failed, there has been certain, you know, movement towards instability of regime. This is the same that I'm saying about the war. There might nothing happen, but there are certain movements that potentially could happen. So in time, we might see another Wagner or something like this. So things are possible. Also, trust CIA. Okay. A Palau flagship was searched today by the Russian Navy, so the blockade, even when very weak and pathetic, is active. Until they meet some surface drones, I mean. 3,600 watching? What? What? How many? No. Wait, 3,600. Guys, please subscribe. Everyone, can we get to... Oh my God, we're 23 people away from 100,000. Guys, 23 people that are not subscribed to this channel. You might not watch this, but please, please, just smack that subscribe button just to make Ali happy, because we promised, well, not promised, but Ali would really want to get a present as us getting 100,000 for her birthday. That would be amazing. Oh, we're 2 away. No, seriously. Yeah, we're over 100,000. I don't know. Should I do victory dance? Like, let's put some music on. Like, let's put some victory dance. This is gonna be so cringe, guys. Like, if you're cringe sensitive, get out now. Get out now. I don't know what this song is. I hope it's good. I don't even hear the music, so it's like. Hello, great guys. I have a whole Ukrainian flag.org here. Well, now you're putting me under pressure. Okay. Hey. New shit. New shit. Okay. All right, I'm closing questions, guys. This is now officially 100,000 special stream, so questions will be asked in chat. We will come back to Ukraine very, very soon. This is now 100,000K special stream. So thank you so much for your questions. I'm sorry the ones that I didn't answer. We'll now get into the 100,000 special stream. Wow, okay. What a day. What a day. All right, let me just adjust the name of the stream. So... there we go. I updated the stream name so it reflects a little bit more. Okay. So, as I promised, guys, as I promised, I have certain things that are up there for getting. We are gonna find some donos. Oh, I haven't prepared this. I haven't prepared this at all. All right, I should have prepared this. Where are my things? I have some Ukrainian magnets. These are quite awesome. I'm hoping you will see this. So these are made from wood. They're still packed. It's from the armed forces, and these are from Ukraine directly. So, and I have 2 packs of 6 of them. There's one that fell out, if you can see. So, oh my god, because, so that's how it looks. It's this thick. Oh my god, because camera sees my face, it's focusing on me. Then I have my old patch. I guess I can do that. And I have a fuck you Russian warship, also a magnet from Ukraine. These things we're gonna start shipping out. Then there is also a very special beanie if you want that. Like, I don't know, maybe you will want that. So let's try to get rid of these things, and I will send them to you. How do you see this? Would you like to try to participate in some kind of raffle? Is it called raffle? I hope it's called raffle. To get some of these goodies, so I can send them over to you, and you get some nice things for 100,000. Also, I might send this flag. Do you want this flag? I can send this flag. I can send this one, and I can send Ukraine Matters flag as well. Because these flags I can easily understand. Okay, let me get the chat back so I can read what you say. All right, flag. Okay, so I see flag. Yes, people want flag. Raffle. Is it OnlyFans? Not yet. We're getting there. It's 100,000 special stream. So let's try to. So to celebrate, what we need to do is we need to donate to Ukraine. Correct? We need to donate to Ukraine, but we don't have any kind of active donation, right? That we're running right now that I can track. So why don't we create some kind of campaign to donate to Ukraine, to donate some charities in Ukraine. And then with those donations, we will then try to see who donates, and we're going to do the raffle. And again, I know that people can donate a lot, but you know my position. I believe that different people can be in different financial circumstances in their lives. Sometimes people can be like, I'm in a good position in life where I have my career started, I have my job, I'm a high paid employee, so I have no issues with finance. That's why I can also donate to Ukraine. Whereas other times it might be someone that's watching me by being just a student, and he might just not yet finish his degree yet. So I believe in honesty for that, but I believe flag at least should go, like, do you agree with me? Let's put it this way. Do you agree with me that flags at least should go to people that donate the charity the most? NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade. Yeah, but I cannot track NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade because I don't have a campaign, because you did so good, so we closed all of the campaigns for NAFO 69. Sounds fair. Yes. So flags then will go to people that donate a lot, and these things, like the smaller ones that I'm gonna prepare. Also, obviously the hand signed everything. So it's gonna be me actually working overtime. We will send out to everyone. Okay. So now how do we do this? Let's see. Let's find some kind of charity, right? Let's go Streamlabs charity. Streamlabs. I'm pretty sure Streamlabs charity had some. Streamlabs charity. Maybe we can find some nice charities that are working for Ukraine. Start fundraising. Let's see. Ukraine. Project Hope. Let's see what this is. Razom, Nova Ukraine, USA. Okay, this is nice. Help Ukraine now. Wait. Wait, did I turn off the music? Oh my god, because I don't hear the music. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, shit. Okay, let's do this. Let's do it simply. I figure out how we can do it. So we can go this way. You will submit. There is like something that's on Streamlabs that you can apply for like a lottery and stuff like that, and we will donate to the charity Come Back Alive, which is a well-known charity from Ukraine. It's run by the veterans of the war in Donbass since 2014. It's a very well-known charity, very good one. So I will, or you, like, let's put it this way. Let's do it simpler, guys. So let's do United 24. Let's do the Come Back Alive, and let's do the some other charity for Ukraine that you might know of. Maybe even NAFO 69 brigade. I will, if person wins, I will just ask the person to provide like a receipt, and then we basically will be sure that whenever we sending something out, and if a person doesn't provide any proof that he donated, then we'll just Voices for Ukraine, maybe, yeah. Razom, yeah, maybe. So let's do that. Let's just, you donate to every charity. I will create right now this thing that you will be able to apply, and then we're going to spin the wheel and find out who gets what. Okay? Good. You will just when you apply and say that yes, I've donated, then you will just state how much you donated when we're going to go with a flag. But let's say $5 minimum. Let's not be like 99 cents. Like let's say $5 or €5 minimum. Are you okay with that? Is it fair? I think like even if a student and he really wants to participate, then $5, I'm pretty sure it would not be nice, but it's still manageable. All right? Cool. All right, Streamlabs. Let's see, how was it done? Was it called like lottery? No, it's like something like this. Again. Yes. Yes. Okay, perfect. Tipping, no. Charity, no. App Store, alert box, recent events. I think it's widgets. Viewer counts, poll. Do you know how it's called? Maybe like suggest your names. How this thing that is called? Maybe I'll find it better because I'm looking at the widgets that are here. Tip goal, event list, tip tracker, stream boss, viewer count, bid goal, supporter goal, status goal, poll, game widget. Maybe it's game widget. Can it be game? Stream labels, chat highlights, spin wheel. Oh, spin wheel. There we go. Yeah. Okay. What the hell? Okay. No, I think I need time to figure it out. This is really complicated. YouTube. How to make ruffle. How to ruffle. Oh, giveaway. That's how it's called. Giveaway. Streamlabs giveaway. There we go. Streamlabs giveaway. How to run a giveaway in Streamlabs CloudBot. Okay. Create a giveaway by clicking add the giveaway. All right. Yes. And how do I do this? Oh, I need CloudBot. Okay. Pinwheel. Yeah, but how do I start this? How do I install this bot? I read the whole description about, yes, there is this bot. It's called CloudBot 101. Okay, great. But how do I install it?
Hey!
Jesus Christ. I'm going to be listening to some YouTubes. Let's watch YouTube together, guys. I know this is slowly turned from Ukraine stream into something completely atrocious, but we have a ability to do so because I can. Because now it's all your fault that you subscribed. Unsubscribe, so it's again under 100,000. Let's go back to normal stream. Oh my god, you really are gonna do this? Like, yes.
Hey all, Wild for Games here, your Streamlab advisor. So if you're not familiar with the giveaway tool, simply put, it's a way for you to send prizes to your viewers, and this gift to your simply click on ads or even your merch to send prizes
Okay, so it's supposed to be available. Okay. Oh, I need to add, there we go. So I found it out. I just need to add him as a moderator. There we go. So it's easy. It's actually easy. I just add him as a moderator and we should be good. Community. And okay, perfect. Yes. Giveaways. There we go. Add a giveaway. Merch. This is like, let's start this Russian worship magnet. Regular subscriber streamers. Okay. Ah, okay. Okay. I suck at YouTube, guys. Sorry. We're gonna have to do this giveaway sometime else. I'm thinking maybe we will do it slower somehow over a week. So let's start it this way. Let me figure it out. I will post community post. I will post it in my videos how to do it, because this giveaway thing, it kind of just spins the wheel for everyone that is in chat, which is nice, but that's not what we wanted. So let's if you donated, guys, if you donated already, save that. That's still gonna be valid. Let's say it from today's stream, today's time. We're just gonna move it over the week, and we're gonna do it and play it with all of the people over the week. We'll figure it out. I will post it in my videos. So we'll figure it out. Don't worry. If you already donated, it will not go to waste. This will all go to fine. Julia, basically, this is what I'm saying. Like, I need to explain this to everyone and so on. That's why I need to make it in a video. I believe that's going to be fair to everyone. We have reached 100,000 subscribers, and as a part of 100 subscribers, we're going to be giving out some of the nice thingies. But to get them, you need to participate in our giveaway, and you need to donate to Ukrainian Armed Forces. It can be United 24, it can be Come Back Alive, any kind of nice true supporters of Ukraine that are well known and so on. Anything that you want. And then basically, once you say that, we're gonna make a system so you can say, I donated, and then we're gonna roll for the prizes, and we're gonna give these prizes away as a raffle. Yes, congrats, guys, 100,000 subscribers. Big thanks to you. We need to get the right thing straight, that yes, I'm just here, but I'm just yelling at the camera. It's Ali, it's a lot of you watching here. That's the only person that I'm really grateful for. Thank you so much. Oh wow, you've donated a lot. Oh my god. Let's go back to questions. Like, well, maybe not questions. I don't want to start this Q&A. So if you really want my opinion or something, just write at Ukraine Matters. I will just try to talk with you on whatever topics you ask me. But yeah, I am very, very happy. Okay, let's see what you've asked. Here's an idea, especially for mud flaps, flat ground terrain. What about wing in ground effect drone? That is possible even at the sea, no wake. Wing in ground effect drone. Yeah, potentially. That I don't know about that much about engineering of the drone, that guy, so I cannot comment will it work or not. Captain Copenhagen, hi. Why is that we in the West do not understand that Russia never keeps this agreement and always bets that believe it? Yeah, that's something I'm asking all the time. Captain. I'm trying to explain. Also, you changed nickname back. That's interesting. David Canning, thanks so much for £1. I'm curious how much of an impact benefit. What? Sorry. I'm curious how much an impact and benefit armed forces of Ukraine are seeing or maybe seeing in attacking Russian logistics, and how fast this will become a multiplier benefits. It's a one by one. You know, it helps, but it's not like it's a initial help. Reduction of Russian logistics removes, for example, instead of 12,000 shells a day, Russian forces fire 8,000 shells a day. Now, does it help? Yes, but is it how do you say, like, is it noticeable by every person at the front line? Probably not. But generally, strategically, it does help. Congratulations, 100,000. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Russell. Ali's birthday, yes, that guy. This is all for Ali. Congratulations, Ali. This 100,000 is dedicated to you. Captain Copenhagen, thanks so much for 70 crowns. Arrest all 100,000. Yes. Gifted 20 Ukrainian membership. RC, thank you so much. Carnifexor, thanks so much for 300 bucks. Whoa. Congrats on the 100K. Slava Ukraini. Absolutely, my friend. OCT, again, 10 memberships. Thank you so much. Maybe Timauro member for 1 month. Congratulations. Now on the 1 million. Slava Ukraini. Yeah, I hope this war ends before I reach 1 million, guys. That would be terrible for my channel. Honestly, like I've talked about this, if giving away this channel with everything that it is and like the 100,000 and everything would make this war end, I would be happy to do it. So it's a bittersweet for me that on one side I'm happy for 100,000. I did a victory dance and whatnot, but obviously it's the topic is not the why I would like to have if I would have a YouTube channel ever. Christopher, thanks so much for 1,000 Romanian day. Let's go for sure. Jan, 100K, let's go. Georgie, get some moves. Yeah, congrats on 100,000, Victor. Jan, thank you so much, guys. Papi, gifted 10 members. Papi, super good analyst. Really come to our Discord, follow what Papi writes. Steven, thanks so much for 20 bucks. And Hill, thanks so much for $5. Congratulations. Thank you so much. That guy, thanks so much for $5. I have an unfair advantage. I already sent $100 to Razam each month. That's fine. That's fine. If you're doing it each month, it also counts. Remember, we're only trying to find that people that help Ukraine, and I just want to, have this raffle in between people that support Ukraine. So if you're just supporting Ukraine every month anyway, in my book, that's good enough. Grab a beer and turn up the music. Yeah, I should. Ulrich, thanks so much for $10. Adamantium, thanks so much for 20 Norwegian kroners, giving the flag to OCT. Yeah, I should. Moving right along. Yeah, for sure. Kevin, welcome. George, welcome. Okay. We've read it all. We read it all. Wow, what a journey. What a journey indeed. Yeah, congrats on 100K for sure. GZ, yeah. I mean, like, I'm very happy. I'm very happy because, this is something. Because let's be honest, guys. Like 100,000 is for many YouTube channels is a starting point. Like, after that, I was joking around. If you scroll through the community tab and you like, there was a post that I made when there was like 30,000 people or something, and I said, well, right, 30,000 is not really even a channel. 100,000 is a channel. That's a YouTube channel. Like, you cannot deny 100,000 YouTube channel. That's a, it's not. Is it a big one? Of course not. For many career YouTubers, this is just a starting point. So look at Artur Rehi. For me, he's most obvious because in our interview, he personally said that he really wanted to do YouTube for a long time. Like, he really wants to have this as a career. Me, I'm more of a happy little accident. Well, first I was a happy little accident for my parents, but now I'm also a happy little accident for YouTube. So I was never expecting that there will be 100,000 people that are subscribed to it. I still am a little bit baffled, and why me? Maybe an algorithm, maybe something else. But I will do what I can to make sure that it was worth it, and I will do more to support Ukraine, even as much as I can, because this is what matters right now. Ukraine matters, and it is as true as from the first day when I wrote those words into the name of channels. That guy, Georgie, is because you're a decent human being at all as possible. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not... I'm okay. Let's put it this way. I'm okay. Like, I'm not without my flaws. I mean, you know that. I think like a lot of you are watching me because I'm somewhat flawed guy, but that's who I am, and you feel me, I feel you, I love you, appreciate it. Yes, more support for Ukraine for sure. Are Georgians pissed because no one stepped up when they were invaded? Yeah, I believe it's 50-50. You know, the Georgian situation is very, very difficult because Georgian situations shows really well what can happen if things are not treated properly, if world doesn't respond. Because Georgians now, some of them and some of their government as well, are falling back into the Russian, friend zone. Well, no, sorry, that's different terminology. Into the Russian sphere of influence, like the Russian circle of friends. And there are still population that remember that Russia occupies 20% of territory of Georgia. But we can just see that in basically 10 years, all of that just gone. And that's a very dangerous prospect. That's why I see that it's extremely important for us to support Ukraine, not only now during the war, but also when the war ends. That's why I really want to go with the business idea. Because if there are a lot of businesses in Ukraine that are going to be tied with a lot of Western money, they're going to produce goods for West, and we're going to continue integrating our democracies, that's when I believe Ukraine will be fully decoupled from Russia. Please pass to Ali. Happy birthday. Hey, Carnifexor, you don't need to pass anything. You mean $50? Sure. I will send it over for sure. I will send $50 to Ali for sure. Georgian war only lasted 5 days too. It's the same sort of things Russia was hoping for Ukraine. It's hard to support them geographically than Ukraine. Travis makes really good points. Yes, it was different world. It was not same logistics. It also was the 5-day war where Georgia was like up and over. Whereas if you remember 5 days into Ukrainian war, there was not a lot of support from the West. And it's not the same. Maybe West would react the same to the Georgian war as well, but it was just gone. You're beautiful, paying our asses, and we love you for that. Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Just me. I appreciate that you're staying with me, just me, by the way. Thank you so much for continuing on. We had some issues on our discussions, but I still appreciate you very much. Love you. Tom P. It saddens me to see Ukrainians dying. The West want to grind down Russia instead of giving them everything that they need. What do you think about it? I talked about it at the start of the stream, Tom. There are multiple angles to look at it. There definitely, let's put it this way. We definitely know that destruction of Russia, as it is goal for Ukraine 100%, is not the same goal for a lot of parties in the West. It's a lot more nuanced approach. So whether or not they will prevent the destruction of Russia, that's a different question. And whether or not they want to do it slowly or they just doing what they can, that's also a different question. Armored Rabbi Master, thanks for the analysis and all the rants. Oh, the rants will be just coming. I cannot stop ranting because this is personal for me. You know that. This war is personal. I cannot stand both on the fact that I have relatives, friends in Ukraine, but also my internal sense of justice is just over the top. I cannot look at this and just say that this is all right. Because it's not. Marino, why wasn't Ukraine asked for Italian Arlette tanks yet, as Italy is decommissioning some to replace them with Leopards 2A8s? I believe Leopards, with a lot of tanks, services of tanks is really relevant. A lot of Leopards are well suited to be maintained. They have enough technical proficiency in Poland, for example, and they also have enough details if they need to. I'm not sure if the situation is the same with Italian tanks. Deviante Dave, I think it's your articulation and desire to accurate info for subscribers. Love your blunt honesty with logical, fair analysis. I mean, to be honest, I think logic is the only thing that we need to understand this whole situation. That's Dave. That's the whole point. I don't really believe now, because what distinguishes an analyst from an expert, right? An analyst is a person that can analyze and represent situation, whereas an expert can start giving some future projections. And to be an analyst, very often one just needs to get access to data and then just put things together logically. Whereas it's the experts that are trying to give future projections. They're trying to say how things will go, and this is their field. That's why I'm not an expert. Never was. I'm just a guy that just listens to a lot of folk and tries to aggregate what they're saying and trying to get people that talk bullshit out of that data providing circle and try to retain a flow of information that is supported by a good sources of that information. Georgia didn't have Zelensky, for sure, yeah. Love your rants. Yeah, Kellen, thanks so much. George McLean, new advert, ruble is cheaper than the toilet paper. Yes, and I will do a video on Global Matters, the second channel. If you haven't subscribed to Global Matters, check that one as well. It's right now only 2 videos, but I will do more videos as the channel grows because there's certain requirements and not all functionality is available. So it's a little bit harder to upload there. I already forgot how hard it was to upload from the start. But check out Global Matters. Let's get that one into the loop, and I will put more videos on Global Matters. And we'll definitely talk about Russian ruble, how it reflects on Russian economy, and what the issues are of Russian economy. Because there are many, but a lot of them are not what are perceived, because Russian economy is also sturdier than a lot of people were thinking. The problem that nobody wanted to be the first to defy Kremlin. We had no idea how crummy the armed forces really were. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like that guy, that's for sure. We definitely lived in our fantasy la la land where we really thought that Kremlin and Putin was this world-altering superpower, that they had like these super spies, that they had all these super capabilities, that they really were these smart 5D chess players. Whereas it turned out when a push come to shove, it's really are just like the thing that people don't believe is that Putin is this regular ass dictator, such as we've seen like the autocrats like these, like Putin. We've seen them time and time again. They've already been there. We know all of their playbooks. And I believe people really cannot still believe that this is exactly the same Putin that they've supposedly grew up with, and everyone around them is like, oh, who is Mr. Putin? And all of these books, Times covers about his secret KGB background. But he is really just a very, very sad man with very, very delusional worldview, with a lot of authoritarian baggage that it comes with every authoritarian. And he, most importantly, is super freaking bland. He's just the blandest of them all. Daniel, thanks so much for 100 kronos. Appreciate it. Carnifexer, Georgie, never let up on the rants. We're all behind you. I don't think I will let out on the rants. Thankfully, I don't have to rant as much on the Western powers, but I will rant out on a lot of other things. There is a war between 2 million analysts, Phillips O'Brien and Michael Kaufman, a-hole. Your thoughts? I've read about this, that there is a war between Phillips O'Brien and Michael Kaufman. I forgot who was talking about it. Was it Anna Spack-Nielsen that were talking about this? I don't believe. And one of them, I believe it was Kaufman that was arguing. Yeah, it was Anna Spack-Nielsen that were talking about these the arguments in between these two analysts about the fact that that Russian offensive in Bakhmut, was it worth it for Ukraine to defend or not? And Kaufman is is well known, and he is stating that it was a mistake. But I think Anders Pak-Nielsen really showed where there are issues with what Kaufman is saying. So I do believe that a lot of this Ukraine should not have held to that territory is an interesting argument. But for me, this is like a historic argument that don't really make sense if it's really relevant, because we are where we are right now. Ukrainian analysts, they had the full depth of information, their commanding officers, and they chose this. Now, whether or not it was worth it, I think factually, Anders Pak-Nielsen said it best. Wagner doesn't exist anymore. Yes, they have some forces, yes, but it literally, the Ukrainian defenses around Bakhmut eliminated Wagner and introduced Russia to the concept of coup, or at least military mutiny. So I think Kaufman looks a lot on the negatives of the situation of Ukraine and doesn't take the positives often and fully enough. And I believe that's his general perspective on a lot of analysis of Ukraine. He very often analyzes very, very harshly, looking at the negative, whereas trying to not take, not trying, but like often missing out on what Ukraine has gained from it. What is the movement that was also for Ukraine. Expert, define X, a prefix, outmoded, and a spurt. Drip, trust experts, yes. Drip under pressure, for sure. Ukraine matters. I hope Wagner fucks around and finds out in Poland. They will not go in Poland. I mean, I think Poland has shown some teeth. I don't think that they will go. Have you talked about NATO training not being sufficient for what the armed forces of Ukraine needs? Is this true? Yes. I believe personally, and this is what recent analysts, and this is actually a good talking point as well for one of the videos. So the problem with NATO training is NATO is training people to fight like NATO fights. Whereas Ukraine is on battlefield and it doesn't have resources that NATO has, and it doesn't have the capabilities that NATO has. And a lot of times the command structure of Ukraine is not fully in line with how NATO troops are trained, because Ukraine fights like Ukraine. They don't fight like NATO. I know plenty of analysts, they're just shitting on it and saying, well, you know, NATO always fight better. But for me, that's a very flawed statement. And to be honest, I am really cringe whenever people say that, because NATO has never fought a similar war. NATO trainings and NATO doctrines assume dominance. They are assuming to make fight with the enemy an unfair game. Like, you just need, it's more about how do you mop up the enemy at the end. That's their training, rather than how do you actually fight maybe a peer competitor. And I believe Ukrainians understand that they are an underdog in this, that they don't have as an expanded library of resources, and they don't have resilience and stockpiles that Russia has from the Soviet Union. So Ukraine is adapting to fight with the idea of conservation of resources, and that is not how NATO fights. Like, can you tell me, does America fight while conserving resources? Can you name me a war where US would fight and they would think, well, we shouldn't probably send that much in, right? And you will understand how silly it is. So I don't believe this. I believe that additional training can benefit Ukrainian military, but that training should be training NCOs. And I believe additional specialized officer training is what Ukraine really, really needs. I think training by NATO standards of grunts is nice. It really helps in moment, but I really believe that NCO training and an officer training should really be stepped up, and Ukraine should be sending potential prospects already to train in. That's how it can be improved. This battle map image is hilarious, yes. Absolutely, yeah. What do you think the result of March 2024 Russian presidential elections will be? No, it will be Putin. It's Putin will win. Boobs for Bakhmut. Oh my god, I really need some boobs for Bakhmut. Okay, that t-shirt is coming to the store for sure. Like, I'm gonna make boobs for Bakhmut t-shirt for sure. Derek, Kaufman is an analyst. He doesn't believe anything for which he does not have direct evidence. But we all know there is little more than battlefield evidence. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's a long question. The nub. If Putin didn't inherit Soviet remains and he had to build everything up himself, he would even be talked about cause he wouldn't achieve anything. Yeah, for sure. Because this is something that we still cannot grasp. Because our European, for example, militaries are so small. So a lot of Europeans, I think US is understanding this a little bit better. Because US military is just bigger. It's huge, right? US military is huge. So I believe US military can understand this bigger war because you have stockpiles of stuff. So you can understand, yes, like Russia is just going through their stockpiles. For European armies, I believe this is something, and European powers and European people, this is something completely not obvious. Because Europeans, they have a standing army and almost no stockpiles. Stockpiles pretty much doesn't exist. And the concept of extensive stockpiles is almost foreign to understanding by the Europeans, unfortunately. That is very bad. And I'm really happy that it's changing now, but it's what needs to be said. This needs to be said. Elections, yes, for sure. Yeah, drone warfare is just getting started. Correct. David, I made a whole video on Global Matters channels about drones. Drones are going to come up as a big future prospect. NATO doctrines assumes air superiority. Yeah, so air superiority is a prerequisite to anything, pretty much. It's more of a like, point A, get air superiority. Point B, do everything that you can to get air superiority. Point A is like, have air superiority. Point B, if you don't have air superiority, look at point A. I have been watching for a long time this channel of reinformation. It doesn't have a bunch of hype that isn't true. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Jenny. I answer to this very often, but I guess recently I haven't been answering this statement. But I like Ukraine. I love Ukraine. I want Ukraine to win, but I want Ukraine to win in reality. I don't want Ukraine to win in some kind of fantasy land where they are, winning 100% of the times. I sometimes see pictures with maps shared where Ukraine is almost occupying Melitopol. That is not true. But if Ukraine is doing something right, I will say that. I will not say it. Because, yeah, Ukraine is doing a lot of right things, and we need to recognize that. Mello, please have General Ben Hodges as a guest. Yeah, I think I should. I think he was very open to just talking with people. We will discuss this a lot. I will hope so. I will hope to get it. Daniel, happy birthday and congrats on 100K. Happy birthday to Ali for sure. And congrats on 100K also to Ali, I would guess, yes. Thanks for the important work. Thank you so much, Ali. This will go to your fund. We're going to get Ali fund. Titties for Ukraine. Yes. Titties for Ukraine. I need to get in touch with Ali Kishka from Twitter. She's a NAFO fellow. And she is like, my Russophobia is stored in my tits. She's like, became a big meme about that. So she's like posting like boob pictures to support Ukraine. Don't ask me how I know it. John, when this is all over, we're going to be hand-winging and saying, we could have done faster, not literally. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That guy, air superiority, I mean capture the high ground, yes. It's over, Anakin. Seeing a story in Western media about Ukraine driving Russian backs 10, 12, 15 miles in two places. What can you say about this? It's an untrue story that has been propagated because of the wrong calculations. Basically, they added together how much Ukraine has advanced on Robotina direction and how much Ukraine has advanced on Velika Novosilka direction. Because it was like 7 and 9 kilometers, I believe, on both two directions, and people just added it up and it's like, hey, Ukraine is penetrated like 16 plus kilometers into Russian territory. It's a non-starter. It's a BS. Poland is becoming the member of NATO. What? That Russia wanted it to be. Yeah. For sure. With I see, for sure. US military is so big because they don't fight in their land. They need so much because they have to take everything with them when they go. Logistics matter. Yeah, US logistics are impressive. When I was looking up like how does NATO deal with logistics and how does US deal with logistics, it is incredible. The lift capacity of US is just mind-boggling. I think when we think about army, especially me, when I was like, less educated on a lot of these military forces a year ago. And I was looking, it's like, wow, US so big. It has like tanks, Abrams, Bradleys, all of these big guns. Super cool. No. It's not even close. The main superpower of US military is logistics. Logistics are just insane what US can do. How much airlift they can do, how much transportation, how much mobility, and they can be pretty much anywhere with a lot of resources available. It is crazy how advanced the logistics are. If we're talking about, well, what is better, Abrams tanks or like a T-90 tank? Oh, they have this, that, and like then we see these super videos online. But when you put Russian logistics compared to US logistics, it's not even close. It's not even like an adult versus a kindergartner. It's an insect that is trying to understand the world, whereas US is like this superpower meme, like like this brain in the cosmos already. So yeah, it's not even close. It's really logistics. I came to appreciate the importance of logistics. Let's put it this way. Hey, Smart Shields, thanks so much, 20 francs. Appreciate it. Thanks very much for 100k. If you do celebration dance, we do need to back up, avoid 2 left feet. Yeah, for sure. What would be damn fascinating would be a drone mothership that can go act as a relay station. Yes. There has been some in the works, but majority thinks that potentially doing what Iran does is mostly more beneficial. So you have a car, and a back of a car just looks like a truck, like a regular civilian truck. And then you take the cover of that truck away, and there's just like a lot of tubes with drones in it. And then you just arrive in the area, you launch it, and then like 10, 15, 20 drones fly up, and they just start swarming the objective. So that's something that I've heard. So instead of a drone mothership, it's more of just a regular truck mothership, like a civilian one. AF Kaplan, congratulations of 100k. Well deserved. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Yes. How are we doing? Ooh, still 3,000 watching. Wow. Amazing. It is for Tokmak. What the hell? Okay, let's have 20 minutes, guys, and I will slowly start wrapping up. I need to prepare for tomorrow's work. As I promised, I will figure out how to set up properly the raffle so you can win the goodies, and I will figure out how we can set it up. It's a little bit of a challenge, but I'll make sure that it works. And don't worry, I will post it in the videos, so just watch my videos. I will explain, and you will have plenty of time to participate. I will make sure you will have an option. And if you have donated already, if you donated just during the month of August, it's all fine by me. You're the star of the show. I am just a guy in sweatpants. Minor nitpick. If you don't have a bridge, it's beachhead. The Ukraine won't have a bridgehead until they build some sort of a bridge over this river. John, but if Ukraine builds a pontoon bridge, does a beachhead becomes a bridgehead? I disagree regarding NSA. Okay, fair enough. Great rants. Rants will never stop. You can stop a lot of things. You can stop Russia in Ukraine, but you cannot stop my rants. By the way, like quick reminder to Russians. Firstly, it's gonna get really worse for you. It's gonna get worse. Russians are stuck in their trap of like what was I saying? Like in oh my god, I forgot the sunk cost fallacy Russians are committing. They are stuck. They don't want to retreat because all things are bad. They will have bad consequences. But it's gonna get even worse for Russians. That's the best part for us because it's only gonna get worse for Russians, and it's gonna get quite soon if any of the setups that we've discussed is gonna be in play. And more importantly, Russians right now are... Okay, I lost train of thought. Fuck it. Never mind. Okay, I guess I'm too sleepy. In any ways, let's go some last questions. Anything, guys? I'm extending all of my love to you. I'm already flowing away. I'm probably gonna make video tomorrow. I also need to make a couple of videos record for Global Matters channel. So we'll go and make more videos and do videos until Russia gets out of Ukraine. I remember the train of thoughts that I said, that Russians can end this at any moment. They just need to get the fuck out of Ukraine. Remember, everything, strikes on Moscow, strikes on everything else. Everything Russians that are struggling with. All of the Russian men dying, whatever. Just get out of Ukraine. Get out. Just get the fuck out. That's it. That's the starter. And after that, we can start negotiations. Mash up quad drones with artillery shell to launch swarm. Yes. A beach is a beach. Just ask US Marine. Yes. All right, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for 100,000. This is incredible. What an incredible and privileged position you put me in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot say it more. I cannot say it enough. We'll continue on. We'll continue supporting Ukraine. Slava Ukraini. And I'll see you next time.